Hi there, welcome back again today to your interesting program on TV, on Encounter Jesus TV, the Believers Takeover Series. I'm your anchor, Ndubisi Idejora Carlo, and today we will be bringing to you someone who has distinguished himself in the sphere of business. You know, this program is all about bringing people who have, believers actually, who have distinguished themselves in various spheres of power in our world today. Today we'll be focusing on business, and it is indeed my great pleasure to bring to your screens today a young man who has made it so big in the place of business, Dr. Philbert Onugha. Dr. Philbert Onugha is actually the founder and CEO of I Trade Up Global Company Limited. It's actually a financial fitness company with half a decade of operations in the financial markets, in education, and sales of financial instruments for growth. And he is also the CEO of Steady Growth Properties, a real estate arm of the group, and making great impacts. And you will be so intrigued to hear about him today. And it is indeed my great pleasure to welcome you, Dr. Onugha, to this highly inspiring program today. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Wow. You know, I had discussions with you before we began the program.
Okay.
And I actually noted most of those things you said. And you talked about God being in the center of it all. Our viewers would want to know, what were the encounters you had that led you to taking this bold step in this area of influence where you wield so much power? What were those encounters by God, from God, that inspired you to do that?
Okay, thank you very much. So the journey for me has been an interesting one, very interesting one indeed, as I will explain briefly. You see, I strongly believe that you can't get there until you go there, meaning your mind has to go there before your body can get there. It says, write the vision down, make it plain. Why? He will read, sit, will do what? Run with it. It's important to understand, even God defines himself as the one that declares the end from the beginning, meaning he never starts a thing until it's finished. I think it's pertinent on us as individuals to also operate in such ways. So what inspired the journey in I Trade Up was a desire to empower 1 million families globally to live an extraordinary lifestyle of freedom and experience unending abundance. And how do people get empowered? It begins from the place of knowledge. You see, people are destroyed. Why? For lack of knowledge. Not for lack of encounters, not for lack of, prayers, but simply for lack of knowledge. A lot of people just refuse to know. So part of what we do is education, to empower people with the right amount of knowledge and skills that can empower them rightly, position them rightly, to be able to have incredible experience as regarding their finance. Okay, and of course, you made mention of our new baby called the Steady Growth Limited. Right. It's something we are really passionate about. Is solving the housing challenge, and it's helping put a lot of families together and allow a lot of people, achieve their financial goals via real estate as well. So far, it's been an incredible journey, and we'll talk further as we move on.
Thank you so much. I'm indeed very excited that I know that this interview is going to be very interesting, and you are going to pour out so much on how you got there. How has your faith helped you in conceiving the type of strategies and decisions you have made? How has your belief in God, or the consciousness of the God factor, of the center God in the center of it all, like you mentioned to me earlier. How has that helped you in the strategies and decisions you've made in your sphere of influence?
Oh, that's I find very interesting now because you see, I strongly believe that life is spiritual, and as much as I say that, I'm also careful not to make people think by spiritual I mean religious. I am very emphatic on the fact that it's spiritual in the sense that your thoughts are spiritual. You can't touch them, you can't hold them. Your words are spiritual. You can't touch them, you can't hold them, yet they are so powerful. So one of the things that informs our decision is a refinement of thought. A refinement of thought in the sense that you can't give what you don't have. And channels of inspiration. You know, I'll be sharing a few things that are very personal on this call because of the audience you told me you have on this platform. At a point in my life, you know, these are things that I don't just throw out there, but at a point in my life, I have a personal experience with God. And that experience has led into a whole lot of things where I'm careful about the values that we represent. I'm also careful about the things that we do, the motives behind it, what do we hope to achieve, the missions, the projects that we embark on, what is the end game for it. Because one of the things that helps my mind is just some basic rituals I do. Now, to use the word ritual, I hope people don't misunderstand that, but let me buttress a bit. One of the things I do is to help refine my mind through fasting. Generally, I fast every single week, twice in a week. I don't eat on Mondays and on Tuesdays. Now, will I say, oh, that's the reason we do what we do? No, but I'm putting this in perspective to make people understand that it could be one of the factors. It helps my mind stay rejuvenated, refreshed. You can bear witness as a person, even if you're not a Christian out there, as a person, when there is physical hunger, there is mental assimilation.
Absolutely, I agree with
you
you.
understand. And in this process, it begins to bring your mind to bear on the Word of God that allows you to see clearly. Because the truth of the matter is this: the most powerful book ever written, in my opinion, is the Bible. I read it every day. Minimum 2 to 5 chapters every day. It's just one of the books I read, if you see it that way. Why? Because it says this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate on it when? Day and night. Why? That you may observe to do according to what is written therein. Then, what happens? You will make your way prosperous. Not you, not God will make your way prosperous. You will make your way prosperous. So it says, then you will make your way prosperous. So to make your way prosperous, your mind needs to be refined. How do you refine your mind? Be it transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's a continuous process. In a world that is fast changing, it's a disaster to stay the same. It's an error to live in the knowledge of the past. It calls for consistent upgrade, consistent update, consistent renewal, consistent reinvention. And before you know, everything begins to align. And I could say clearly that I strongly believe is some of these things that I do every day that helps my mind to stay productive. I'm placing emphasis on the mind as much as I'm talking about the spirit man, because the mind holds the power to determine to a very large extent how far an individual can go. The refinement of your thought reflects in the outcomes of your life. I've met a lot of people who just delve in the spiritual but are of no earthly use. I've also met a lot of people who just read a lot of books but does not understand the place of the God factor. But you see, with God at the center of it all, and with your mind operating in a frequency that can allow you have results, then everything begins to align.
You know, you discussed about kingdom principles, you know, and how you've always had these kingdom principles behind what you do. The sphere of influence where you are making huge impact in is a very competitive space.
Okay.
How does your principles, those biblical principles, how do you cope in this sphere of influence? How do you cope?
Okay, thank you very much. You know, one thing is that I always talk about GOD, goals or distractions.
Wow.
It applies to everything we do in life. The more we focus on our goals, the more it expands. The more we focus on our distractions, the more it expands. And the more it expands. And the funny thing is this, the world is designed to distract, meaning even if you are set on a goal right now, and you are pursuing it and trying to give it your best, there will be a lot of things calling your attention. We live in a world of hyper distraction. With the social media, a lot of things are calling for your attention and competitions here and there, but it depends on you to define what you see as competition.
Wow.
Because if your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light. What that means is this. In the midst of all the noise and the distraction, your ability to stay focused on the goal is what keeps you moving. This is so powerful, and I always talk about this from a standpoint that says, write the vision down. It means everything that will be great begins with a vision. Wow. Without a vision, the people are destroyed. So you get a vision, then you write it down. Writing it down is taking it away from your mind. Meaning empowering and enabling your mind such that it never deviates from the vision.
Okay.
That's the essence of writing it down. The reason is because the world is designed to distract, like I said. And it says, guard your heart with all diligence. Why? For out of it are the issues of life. The essence of writing it down is to help your mind see it consistently.
Wow.
So you get a vision, you write it down. Why? That he may run that reads it. It means even when you are distracted and your eye sets on that vision, it realigns your focus. But people that don't write things down, people that don't keep pictures, pictorial representation of what they desire, find it difficult to achieve these things in the midst of so much busyness. You see, busyness is one of the biggest distractions. You know, a lot of people can be busy doing nothing. The question is, what are you really doing? And does it really count? The Pareto principle is the 80-20 rule, where 20% of the work is what produces 80% of the result.
Interesting.
So your ability to now major on the majors, not on the minors, is what determines the result. For instance, Moses was busy majoring on the minors, trying to advise everybody, trying to settle every dispute, until his father-in-law came and said, why are you killing yourself?
Got to delegate.
Why don't you delegate? Why don't you empower other people so you can major on the major? So one of the biggest challenges in business is when people get busy with frivolities, forgetting the most important things that creates impact and result in what they do. So for me, it's not a big problem holding on to my beliefs, because our belief is the foundation of everything that becomes of our lives. What are we, or who are we, if we stand for nothing? It was Martin Luther King Jr. that said, if you can't stand for something, then you will fall for everything. It's important in life, in business, in relationship, in everything that we do. Hold your conviction strong. If it is God, hold him strong. If it is your beliefs in whatever, hold it strong. But I strongly believe that the ultimate is God, and the God of the Bible, of course. So I read it every day. Wow. And it helps keep my mind sharp. I really don't see the Bible as a religious book. I see it as one of the best books ever written for life, for business, for relationships, for everything. When you look through the history of the world, great inventions have come out of the Bible.
That's right.
The penicillin, a lot. We can go on and on to mention a lot of things that has been done around the globe that drew inspiration from the Bible. And I don't propagate it as an instrument for religious exercise. I propagate it as an instrument for global domination and to empower your spirit man for earthly relevance. Because a lot of people just focus on quote and unquote the heavenly race and forget to be of any earthly use to themselves and their families. You find, growing up, one of the challenges I had was watching the believers who spend a lot of time in the church, who read the Bible, who pray long hours, but they are so lazy to the core. They have what is called misplaced priorities. As much as you major to build your spirit man, you need your mind to be active so you can be of earthly use to your family and to the society. So in what ways are you empowered? What knowledge are you imbibing? What exposures are you even having? How different are you right now from who you were yesterday? And if we can consistently grow and maintain our beliefs, then we become unstoppable. Because when a child is a baby, you can mold the child. But when you've become an adult, your beliefs are formed. And for you to have a change of belief, you need to now immerse yourself in certain kind of knowledge that builds convictions on that belief system. Reason I tell you, I practice certain things every day. I read a couple of books every day. Among the books I read every day is the Bible, 2 to 5 chapters every day. Wow. Among the things I do every week is fasting, not for religious exercise, please. I do that for my spirit man and most times for my mind. And of course, thirdly, it has its health benefit as well. It helps detoxify the body.
Absolutely.
It keeps your mind
Bacteria
sharp and a whole lot of things. So as a culture, I fast twice every week, Mondays and Tuesdays. You can't find me eating on Mondays and Tuesdays, but I drink a lot of water anyways.
Well, yeah. Dr. Onugha, you have really expounded so much on this area. You spoke about an aspect of the believers, having that sphere of power, in their area of calling. When we get back, I would like you to talk about that, and we'll expound more on that. So we're going to get back, and I'm happy, and I know by now you've become so inspired about this young man and what he's done so far. So we'll go on a short break, and then I'll get back, and then we'll continue from there. Stay back. Please don't go away. Thank you.
Did you know EJMI stands for Encounter Jesus Ministries International? Join us every first Sunday for our miracle service and every last Sunday for our Thanksgiving service. Encounter Jesus Ministries International is making a global impact, reaching multiple nations, and our TV, the Encounter Jesus television station, broadcasts to over 80 nations, transforming countless lives around the world. Just in case you're wondering how to be a part of this move of the Spirit, you actually can be a part by partnering monthly, quarterly, or yearly as you are led. For your convenience, you can take advantage of the following details. Account, Access Bank. Account number 187-070-4250 or call +234 905 592 4687 for more information. Your partnership helps spread faith and hope across the world. Together, we can achieve even greater impact. Partner with us and be a part of something glorious.
So, welcome back to your favorite program, Believers Takeover on Encounter Jesus TV. Now, thank you so much for coming back, being there with us, standing there. We're still on the show with Dr. Philbert Onugha. And as we left the last discussions we had, you see, many believers don't yet understand that this is the time of the apostolic church when we have to come out of the church. We're not leaving the church, actually, as a matter of fact, but we're going to the world there as agents of the kingdom of God. And I would like you to explain, because you're coming from a practical example, and I would like you to inform the viewers and teach us actually how kingdom economics works for you.
Thank you so much. So first of all, in 2021, I got concerned about the way, in 2018, not 2021, I got concerned about the way I see a lot of young folks like myself in the church who are not making any meaningful impact in their world. You see a whole lot of them struggling. You hear them speak in tongues, hours unending. You hear them challenging themselves with their fasting calendars. You hear things like, oh, how many...
They know the scriptures actually.
Wait, hold on, I'll get there.
Oh dear.
You hear how many chapters they read in a day. You hear how this one has done 3 days dry, no food, no, all of those exercises make sense. So powerful, so powerful. But you see, it's just like having a full body, but you are busy just working out your arms. When you go to the gym and all you do is work out your arms, before you know it, your arms will be so bulky, your waist will be so thin, your leg will be like a broom, and you'll be out of shape.
That's a dysfunctional system.
Very dysfunctional. So we find a lot of believers who are like this, who are so immersed in the things of God that they don't look for ways for it to find expression
In the world, in society.
in the world. And the Bible says that you are the light of
The world. Did you hear that?
not the light of the church. The church, we are all lights. You understand?
Interesting.
But where are we supposed to shine? In the
the
world,
world.
not in the church. So you are a banker, you are a lawyer, you are an engineer, you are an architect. Whatever it is that you do, of what relevance is your Christianity in that place of your functionality? How does your values permeate the system? Do you uphold the truth? Can you be trusted? I'll give you an instance. I have a person who I respect. He's a tongue-talking believer, so powerful, incredible human being. You're talking with him now, he will tell you, oh man, I'm going to the church, we have a program. The next week you're talking to him, oh, I went so place, I did this. I was like, interesting. So I said, okay, why don't we do something together? And I called this person closer and I said, this and this and these are the things we want to do. These are the expected outcomes. These are the KPIs, key performance indicators that we expect from you to show that you are making progress towards this. And something interesting happened. The person was given some funds to begin the process, 5.5 million naira. He received the funds and started coming up with excuses. Okay, it's obvious that you are no longer making headway with this process. Can we have the funds back? Let me see what I can do. Till date, the funds is not back. So of what relevance is your Christianity when it can be sacrificed at the altar of money? Your Christianity holds no water if it does not express the value of the word Christian, Christ-like.
Wow.
What would Christ do in this situation? Would he be found wanting as a liar? Would he be found wanting as a cheat? Would he be found wanting as a fraudster? Would he be found wanting as a latecomer? Would he be found wanting as somebody who comes up with excuses? If he would not do it, why should you? So I strongly see the Bible as a powerful book and a success manual for life. But it's left to the reader to apply the principles therein.
Wow.
I've never seen laziness in the Bible. Never. The Bible has always encouraged
Nowhere.
hard work. It has encouraged diligence. It
That's
has
right.
encouraged perseverance. It says, watch them who through faith and patience obtained the promise. Faith is believing in the impossible and daring to do it. Secondly, patience is staying persistent in the process until you get the desired result.
Wow.
A lot of people don't even exercise their faith, and the few that do lack the mental toughness to be persistent. So you are a Christian, and you're coming into the field of work to play, and we expect some certain kind of result from you.
That's right.
But you hide under the cover of you are studying the Bible, you are praying. There is time for everything.
That's correct.
So when you're coming into work, bring in the professionalism, bring in your best, have a brutal work ethic. You understand? When you are given a job to do, do it to the point that when we come, our focus should be on you. You be so focused until you become the focus in your department.
Wow.
Don't just be the person making a jest of Christianity or whatever you believe and hiding under the cover of laziness, perpetrating all kinds of things. But at the end of the day, it all boils back to, what do you really believe? Do you really believe what you claim to believe? Because even the Bible says the demons believe to the point that they tremble. But you that say you believe, where is your work? Because your work is the only proof of your belief. The only proof of desire is pursuit. If you desire this watch, you reach out for it. Yeah.
That's right.
If you desire $1 million, the question is, what are you doing to earn $1 million? Not how much are you believing for $1 million. Not how much seed have you sown for $1 million. Not how long have you fasted for $1 million. Sir, what are you doing to earn $1 million? Have you developed the mindset of a millionaire? Have you developed the skill sets that can put $1 million in your pocket? Have you developed the tools, or are you the kind of person who is lazy in learning? There is time to attend a seminar that will empower your mind, but you rather stay in church and attend a prayer revival program. I have no problems with prayer revival program. After you have been revived, go and revive your finance. Because at the end of the day, you have a family to take care of.
That's right. The realities.
Yeah, you have a family. And see, I don't believe a poor Christian. Their Christianity is still in doubt. It disappears at the frequency of money. I have somebody who is working with me, and one day he made a very powerful statement, and I was like, what's the meaning of that? He said, opportunity makes the thief. I said, what do you mean? I said, please explain, let me understand that. He said, opportunity makes the thief in the sense that people act in a certain way until they are exposed to certain environments. Wow. Then they discover who they really are. You see, you are not a cheat until you have the opportunity to cheat, and you don't. I was reading a book the other day by James Allen where he says the mind is the master. And in that book, he talked about how to be a strong man. He said to be a strong man is not an individual who has the knowledge of good. A strong man is also not an individual who has the knowledge of evil. He says a strong man is an individual who have the knowledge of good and evil and choose good.
Wow.
God himself said, I've placed before you life and death, blessing and curses. Choose life that you may live.
You see, when you are talking about, just hitting on what you just talked about, coming to the situation where you have the opportunity to choose good or evil, being in that real life scenario. You're operating in a sphere of influence that we're not talking of theory right now. You're there. How has maintaining these principles of choosing good, what are the challenges you face? What is your greatest challenge in operating in this biblical, principled business thought? What has been your what's your greatest challenge in operating in this field?
A matter becomes a challenge when it's not a conviction. If you believe that this is white, and I come to you with black, and I tell you that black is white, will it be a challenge for you? Okay. No, because you are convinced beyond belief.
Okay.
You don't just believe that this is white. You have conviction that this is white. So no matter how much I try to paint black to be white, it's not a temptation to you because you have elevated beyond belief.
Wow.
Okay, so when it becomes a challenge is when you don't know where you stand. A double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. This is so powerful because, you see, what do you do when you have the opportunity to compromise? And at that point, nobody will know that you compromised. What would you do given such opportunity? The only factor that will determine what you do is your conviction, not even your beliefs.
Wow.
Because your belief can be wavered.
That's right.
If so, all it takes to begin, all it takes to poke a hole in your belief is to even ask you certain questions. For instance, you claim to be a Christian. Question number one, if you were not born into a Christian family, are you sure you'll be a Christian? If you were born into a family of atheists, are you sure you would have been a Christian? How sure are you that the things you read in the Bible are true? How can you be told that somebody divided the Red Sea and people walked on bare ground?
Were you there?
Were you there? But there are beliefs that is beyond belief. These things are convictions. These things are personal encounters. These things are situations you found yourself and God came through for you. And then you know beyond words that God is real.
Yeah.
You understand? Then you know. You are searching for a solution. You've read books, but in the sleep of the night, you are just sleeping, and suddenly it hits you that this is what to do. And you do it, and it is correct. Then you know that there is a force beyond you as a person. Some people call it the universe. Some people call it whatever name they choose to call it. But come on, nothing exists out of nothing.
Absolutely.
In science, it's called the Great Bang, whatever crap of a theory you want to call it. Nothing evolves out of nothing.
Absolutely.
The world is so much in order that it will take some level of folly for an individual to accept that such orderliness came out of nothing.
Doesn't make sense.
So there is a place for the supernatural. But at the same time, there is a place for the working man to be disciplined. Seest thou a man diligent in his work?
That's right.
Shall stand before kings. The problem is not seest thou a man doing a job. The question is diligent, committed to the process, giving it the time, the attention, the energy, the development it requires, the commitment it requires.
Interesting.
Not having misplaced priorities. Not giving it, not hiding under the shadow of laziness. Not forming some commitment in church. I mean, your local assembly will even do better when you have more money that you can use to sponsor the spread of the gospel.
Correct.
It takes money to be on television. It takes money to be on the radio.
Absolutely.
It takes money to organize crusades. It takes money to do most of these things. And my kingdom, through prosperity, shall be spread abroad. Not through your commitment, sir.
That's correct.
Go and work. You understand? Go and work. If we come together and everybody is wealthy and we have a program, it is done. No need to raise money, no need to cajole, no need to coerce, no need to convince nobody. My kingdom through prosperity shall be spread abroad. So go out there and be of some earthly use.
I think you're fired up the viewers here, and you see, these truths need to be told from a practical, experiential point. I mean, you just talked about the fact that nothing happens without something. In fact, we know from Newton's theories that, in fact, it makes no sense to admit that every system that works is a result of nothing. And even in our beliefs as Christians who need to go and function out there, I think what you've just emphasized is so important, that there are some key things we have to do, that we ought to do before we can actually fulfill that complete kingdom life. You see, you have spoken a whole lot here. And many believers are now really very eager to replicate what God has used you to do. But most times they would have challenges where most times they will fall, most times, even in business. I read about, I think it was Donald Trump that was telling his life story, and he said there were moments where he even came down, financially, actually. Was about getting bankrupt, as a matter of fact, but he came up again. What will you tell a believer that meets this thing that looks like a certainty in business where great challenges come? What will be your advice to that believer?
You have nothing to teach me if you have never failed before, because in your failures are my lessons. I can't learn so much from your success as I can learn from your failures.
Okay.
So there is actually nothing to learn from a successful man as much as there is to learn from a failure. But the best person to learn from is a successful person who has failed over and over again, but has found his way to get back to success. So I'm saying that to say this, that challenges is a part of life. I mean, I trade the Forex market.
Okay.
It's not a straight line. It goes up, it comes down. You can make money both ways. But the question now depends on, number one, your knowledge. Number two, your skill level. Number three, your discipline level.
Wow.
And all of this now begins to come to play in the decisions you are now able to make.
Okay.
Because someone said decisions decides destiny. Meaning that at a crossroad, all you have to do is to make a decision. And making that decision is what will determine the outcome. To have the outcome, what will now inform the decision you make? What will inform the decision you make is the exposure you have to knowledge, the exposure you have to information, the exposure you have to certain environments that will inspire you to understand that it is normal. Are we together?
Yes,
Someone said a thousandaire is a thousandaire because he has lost hundreds. A millionaire is a millionaire because he has lost thousands.
That's right.
A billionaire is a billionaire because he has lost millions. So you need to be around an environment of people who have been where you are trying to go to, so they can guide you. Somebody said, why will bad things happen to good people? This is life. I believe that if Jesus knew the demands for his coming to earth, he probably would have opted not to show up. Because at a point he was like, my father,
Realities.
why have you forsaken me? Himself would say that. What kept him going was the strong why. For the glory that was ahead of him, what did he do? He endured the cross. He despised the shame and kept going. Why? For the glory. So everybody requires to have a strong why. It's a necessity. You must understand the reason why you embarked on the journey in the first place, and keeping your mind on that vision will help you stay the course. So for people who will consistently experience challenges, eat it. It's part of life. It's part of life. I mean, these challenges will come in diverse ways. Wow. Some will come as a result of your own erroneous thinking. Some will come by other human factors.
That's right.
Some will come by a breach of trust. Some will come in diverse ways. But your ability to keep going is dependent on the clarity of the vision, the reason you got started in the first place.
Wow.
I'll give you an instance. There's a young man who I met some years ago, 2 years ago to be precise, and I've known him for over a decade. So I ran into him 2 years ago, and I didn't like the way he was looking. So guess what? I gave him ₦1 million to do some things for himself, and I eventually started following up on me that he wants to learn Forex trading and everything. And I said, okay, get involved in our academy in the iTradeUp global system, start the learning process so you can, understand how it works and begin to apply yourself to it. Now, to cut the long story short, despite everything that happened, he started learning, started getting better. At a point, probably was exposed to so much resources and results that he eventually got somebody pregnant and got married and became distracted and was no longer paying attention to the business. And at a point, I remember I requested that I give him a car to use to enable him with his operations. I told him I'll make a car available for you in the name of the company. Seeing the fact that he was very distracted and unproductive, all I did was retrieve the car. But there was something else that happened. While he was in the business, I once told him to create an account on behalf of the company, a social media account for the company, which he did. Upon retrieving of the account, he waited a couple of months. What he did, he shut down the social media handle. What would you do as a believer?
Oh dear.
Would you say, oh, brother, I love you so much, you can just go ahead and hurt my business? No, you deal with it. You deal with it. So you face problems head on. You face problems head on. Do it the legal way, the right way, but what needs to be done has to be done. Why I'm telling you this is because there are all kinds of errors that you are exposed to in the job that you do, in the business that you do. Your ability to stand back up on your feet is what determines if you'll be successful. A champion is an individual who faced a battle and came out victorious. You are not a champion if you face no battle.
Okay, viewers, we've had an interest. I've been so excited here, and I know by now you're fired up. We have been with Dr. Philbert Onugha, the CEO and also the managing director of one of the aspiring companies in the business world. I Trade Up Global and Steady Growth Properties. And I know by now you are now believing God for how he's going to use you to make impact in your world of business. We will have to end the discussion here today because it's so much, and next time on the series, we'll be completing this interview. It is from me and the crew. Ndubisi Idejora Carlo has been my name, and we're looking forward to seeing you next time on this show for the recap of the program. Thank you very much.